everybody see me and hear me and my unmade bed? Let's see. Guys, give me, there's some people. Everybody say hi. I'll give everybody else just a second to jump on. Hi, Allison. I'm actually super excited about tonight because I realized that with literally hundreds of new people joining our team every month, that means hardly anyone knows our story. Hardly anybody knows how our team actually began and where it originated from. And I realized that on my journey, even right now, looking at Diamond, being only one step away from that, I still look at other diamonds and think, oh my gosh, how did they do it? Like, it feels so elusive. Like, even though I'm only one step away from it, it still feels so far. And so it reminded me of the beginning of my journey and how I just looked at people who were, hi, hey Megan, hi guys. I looked at people who were successful at this, and I just immediately, the first thing I did was had a running list in my mind of all the ways that they were successful, but not just reasons why they were successful. What was really in my mind is that for every reason that I knew they were successful, I had two reasons why I wouldn't be successful. So I would look at people who were doing well and I would see a post about someone going to pick up their Lexus, and I would be like, well, she's picking up her Lexus because she works 2 jobs and everybody knows her in this town. And that's 2 reasons why I will never do this. I will never be able to get that far. So I wanted to make this video tonight because for those of you who are just now getting here and you are wanting to do this, you are desperately hoping this is going to work, I wanted you to know where we came from, where I've come from, and I wanted you to know the doubts and fears and second guessing that I had to walk through for this to even be possible. I also wanted you to know that it is entirely possible for this to be beyond your wildest dreams when the odds are in fact stacked against you. Because it's one thing to just have fears, like fears that we all think through, like, oh, what are people gonna think of me? Oh man, I don't wanna be that person. And it's another thing to legitimately have crazy, insane life circumstances that should keep you from being able to do something. And our team had both of those things against us. So I want to share with you guys tonight our story and how the Lord has blessed this and made it actually work. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, I'm Abby. I am the leader of Fearless Freedom Advocates. I am 23 years old, and I am a Sapphire Ambassador on my way to Diamond. I first started these products in July of 2014, and honestly, you guys, I started them to be a nice friend and to get rid of baby weight. Now, here's the deal. I am not somebody who will jump on any bandwagon, ever, no matter what. I'm the first to scoff. I'm the first to make fun of people doing supplements or diet programs or anything like that. I was the first to laugh at them and make fun of them. So I was like the worst candidate ever to try Plexus. But I was a single mommy, and I had become a single mom overnight through an insane and tragic circumstance. I was never expecting to be a single mom, we'll just say that. And it really, really happened fast, and it blindsided me. And so I had a 4-month-old, so I had an infant, and I was permanently exhausted all the time, every hour of the day. I was trying to get back to my pre-pregnancy self amidst life turmoil because 3 weeks before my daughter was born, my first daughter, I found out some news that led to me becoming a single mom. And so I was in like crisis mode and trying to figure out my life, and everything was literally crumbling, and I did not know how to function. But I was trying to at least like get back to some sort of normal, and I was eating a really 100% organic, clean diet, was eating great all day long, was exercising at CrossFit 5 to 6 days a week with my dad, and I still wasn't able to ditch the last bit of my baby weight. And so when my friend Jessica, who I knew pre-Plexus, she was in my women's Bible study group, and she was amazing, especially during that season of my life, was just supporting me and encouraging me in the new season that I had found myself in. And she was so excited. She was like, guys, she was like, I am trying this new thing, and it's called Plexus. And not only is it the coolest thing ever, like health-wise, but it's gonna save us and get us out of hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, and I'm gonna do the business, and it's gonna be awesome. And everybody in our women's Bible study just kind of looked at her and smiled and like went back to our conversation. We were like, oh no, she's been compromised. Everybody look away. And none of us tried it. And so to be honest, I felt so bad for her. I was like, this is terrible. We're her friends and nobody is supporting her. So I decided to order 1 month of product. Even though I knew I shouldn't technically be spending money on it, I was like, I really feel bad for her, and goodness gracious, if there's even a slight chance of this working, I'm so sick and tired of not being able to get this baby weight off. So I tried it for 1 month. You guys, I was the worst Plexus person ever. I did not take my products consistently. I left them on my counter for days at a time. I was the worst of the worst of the worst. I turned off my auto ship because I couldn't afford to let it come out of my bank account. And when I say I couldn't afford it, I mean there was not $100 in my account. Actually, at that point in my life, I was overdrafting every month. So it was not there. I told Jessica, I was like, I can't afford this. I'm single mom. I don't have income. I really can't do this. But you guys, the products worked. Even on month 1 of inconsistently taking the products, my headaches disappeared. My 5 to 6 cups of coffee a day, all of a sudden, I was forgetting to drink it in the afternoon, whereas before it had been my lifeline. My mom walked in one day and she was like, oh my word. She was like, your abs are back. She was like, when did that even happen? And I was like, I'm drinking this drink. It's supposed to like shred body fat and support muscle growth. It was crazy. And the only thing that had changed was Plexus. So I was super stubborn and skeptical, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I don't actually know if that stuff really works for me or if it was just a coincidence. Maybe month 5 postpartum was like my magic number. I'm super young. I was eating right. If this was going to work on anybody, it was going to be me. So I went back to my skepticism, and after 1 month on the products, I continued scoffing and making fun of people and not reading Jessica's posts and scrolling past them. You guys, I even considered unfollowing her, even though she was my really good friend. I couldn't make myself do it because I loved her, but her posts drove me crazy. I was like, there's no way it's that good. You are over dramatizing it. There's no way it's that great. But here's the catch. We lived in a crazy tiny town, you guys. Searcy, Arkansas, look it up on the map. It is in the middle of nowhere. Literally, we have a Wendy's and a Sonic and a McDonald's, okay? Like, there is really not much in that town. I actually wasn't even from Searcy. I lived 20 miles outside of it on a farm. So I was really from the middle of nowhere. And there was such a small town that Jessica went around and got everybody on it, because you guys, when Jessica decided to do this, she decided to do it the real way, the right way, all out. She was going diamond. So she told everyone, and people started seeing results. And I was like, how is this even possible? How are people with autoimmune diseases seeing results from their issues? How is Jessica's son's eczema clearing up? How are all of these things connected? So I started doing my own research, and I did that research for 7 months. That's when I discovered gut health. And after figuring that out, I was like, oh, this makes total sense. If all of these crazy issues all have one source, then that makes sense. If gut health is the source and all these products are doing is targeting that gut health, Plexus isn't magic. Plexus makes sense. So then I was super excited, mostly just excited that my friend hadn't bought into a scheme and that it was real life and I could finally truly support her. So what I started doing was I started telling everyone about Plexus and telling them to go get it from Jessica. And I was so proud, you guys. I was so proud that I didn't sell it, that I told everyone that. I was like, listen, okay, you're gluten intolerant, you have to try this stuff. Don't worry, I don't sell it. Okay, don't look at me. I'm not that person. But my friend Jessica sells it and you have to go get it from her. It's gonna change your daughter's life. It's gonna be amazing for her. Her inflammation's gonna go down. Like, I was so excited to have something to offer people, and I was so dang proud that I wasn't selling it that I used up my own network and sent them to Jessica. Like, Jessica came to me and she's like, Abby, what are you doing? You are an ambassador. You ordered these products wholesale, so turn your order back on and make money. And I was like, no. You don't understand. I have integrity. I'm not going to be making money off of people. I'm not going to sell this stuff. No, thank you. But I'm so glad it's working for you, and I'm so glad that you're shameless about it and that it's going to get you out of debt. So I wished her well and told her a big fat no. And she was like, you need this. You have to support a baby. What are you going to do if you're not going to do Plexus? And you guys, I decided to take the high road. I was like, you know what? I don't have a college degree. All I have is a high school diploma, but I'm going to figure this junk out. I am now responsible for my daughter's life. I'm going to provide for her, and I'm going to do it the right way. You are sure as heck not going to see me on some scheme making money, even though the products work, because I would rather die than post about something on Facebook and have people think that I have stooped so low as to join one of those companies, even if it's to support my daughter's life. So I decided to have integrity and get a real job. What I did is I decided that once upon a time I had been super passionate about being a nurse. That was originally what I was going to go to college for. And so I started filling out college applications, and I went and met with advisors, and I was 6 weeks postpartum and had a newborn, and I was going through all these steps, and I was getting more and more depressed about it by the day, because what I was looking at was 4 years of school, right, to grab a bachelor's degree, and I was going to miss the first 4 years of my daughter's life. Now, for those of you that don't know me, being a stay-at-home mom was what I wanted to do. I never wanted to be away from my baby. I never wanted to miss those years, and so it was literally crushing me at the idea of having to leave her. So I looked into technical degrees. I looked into an LPN school. All of it involved being away from my baby for 8 hours a day, and whether that was going to be for 1 year or 4 years, I realized that I wasn't going to get what I wanted, because I was going to have to be away from her, and then what? I was going to walk out of school and go get a job so I could be away from her for 8 more hours a day again, and I was going to have crazy amount of debt. So how many years was it going to be before I actually was going to make money to be able to support her? She was going to be in kindergarten. I couldn't do that. I had to support us now. And so I did the only thing I thought I could do, and I went and got a CNA license, and that is a certified nursing assistant license. I borrowed money to get someone to pay for the class for me, and I did it. And I cried every single day through the classes because I was missing my baby, and it was never what I wanted to do. But I graduated at the top of my class. My instructor said they had never seen someone do so well naturally, and that I would absolutely get a job. I started sending in applications to every clinic in our town for night shifts, because I was going to work at night and be at home with my baby during the day. In the meantime, while I was putting in those applications and waiting for something to work, I had been cleaning houses, working as a personal assistant. I was scrubbing people's toilets. I was grocery shopping for people. So, you guys, I was working. I was doing whatever I thought I could do. I put Ava in a baby carrier and scrubbed bathtubs with her on my back. I would shop in the pouring rain, going to 4 different grocery stores to get other people's grocery lists filled with a baby getting soaking wet. But I was thankful for it because the Lord was providing for us in that season that I was being super stubborn and telling Jessica no. So the Lord does give us choices and he does take care of us, but we also have the power of choice. And in that season, I was definitely choosing a harder road because of my pride. So we did that. And while I was waiting for all of my applications to come through, nobody was calling me back. I didn't understand. Like, I had killer references. I had graduated at the top of my class. There was no reason why I shouldn't be getting hired. And I actually had one of my mentors, a lady who is much older and much wiser than me, who just called me out one day. And she was saying, have you gotten any callbacks from your applications? And I said, no, not yet. I don't know what to do. I'm getting really stressed out about it. And she said, what is your problem? What do you have against making money on social media like everyone else does right now? And I just looked at her, you guys, completely speechless, because this is someone I love and respect so much. And she said, what is it? What is it? There are so many companies out there. Pick something you believe in, girl, and do it. We both know you don't want to be away from your baby. We both know it's breaking your heart, and you just have to give me one reason why you don't want to do this. Why? She was like, if you don't want to do Plexus, don't do Plexus, but pick something and stay home with your baby and make a living and be happy. And she said, but you're going to have to give me one reason. And I didn't say a word. And she said, is it pride? Is that your only reason? And I said, yes. And I burst into tears. And she said, you can do this. Pick something you believe in and go for it. So that began my journey, this was around the 6-month mark after Jessica had initially asked me to try Plexus. So I took a month and I looked at a bunch of companies because I thought, you know what? There's lots of stuff out there I like. I like skincare. I love makeup. I love essential oils. And I know Plexus works. So what is going to be the best company for me? What is actually going to provide for my baby? What can I what is going to allow me to fall asleep at night knowing that I'm actually providing a product that I'm not going to feel guilty about sharing with people? And you guys, I looked at a bunch of options, and to this day, this is the reason my belief in Plexus and this company and these products is so strong, because of that process I went through, because I had to pick something that wasn't just going to be fun and great, but something that made sense, something that was going to provide for my family for the long haul and be the wisest and best choice. And I realized that Plexus stands alone because it's not a luxury product. It's not a cookie sheet that's nonstick. It's not mascara that's gonna save lives. This is actually something that people need. Just from watching Jessica's clients alone in my tiny town, I had seen people's lives turned upside down. For those of you that don't know Ryan Evans, she was one of those people. She was celiac. She was having to go get shots of IVs put in her on a monthly and weekly basis. She wasn't having to do that anymore. These are people's actual lives that were changed. And I couldn't say that about makeup or face wash or essential oils, even though I loved them. That wasn't actually changing lives. That wasn't changing people's quality of health. And it wasn't there was no other product out there that applied to all ages. I didn't just want something that worked for me, someone young and in my 20s and in my prime. I needed something that was going to work for grandparents and babies and middle-aged people. I need something I could offer to everyone, because Lord knows if I was going to make enough to support my family, I couldn't just appeal to a small market of people. I had to have something I could offer everyone in the entire world. So Plexus made the cut. The comp plan was also unmatched. There was nothing else. People that were involved with other companies, nobody ever seemed to actually make money. And in Plexus, I could count on both hands people that I knew that were making enough to pay their bills, because they were smarter than me and had jumped on board faster than me. And so I knew for a fact that they were making money. So I said yes to Plexus. Now, let me explain. I kind of said yes to Plexus. I made a coming out post on Facebook, which I spent probably 2 hours writing, and in the last line of that post said, here's why I believe in this product, here's what I've come around to, but don't worry, I will not come after you. So if you want this product, you better come ask me for it, because guys, my pride still hadn't gone anywhere. So I wasn't about to be caught dead cold messaging someone on Facebook. I was not that wise yet. So I was posting on Facebook. I would throw a post up every day, and I thought that was working my business. I patted myself on the back because I would hold my breath with every Facebook post I made. And just so you guys know, I was not an active Facebook person before Plexus. I was a Facebook ghost. I would get on Facebook and scroll my news feed to see what other people were doing with their life, but my life was in a shambles, so I sure was not going to be posting on there except for maybe a once a month picture of my super cute baby. That was it. I was not active, so I was not Miss Social. I'm also a crazy huge introvert, and most of you wouldn't know that because I now make videos for a living and talk to people for a living, but I am. To this day, when I check my inbox, I physically break out in a sweat. I have tried every deodorant on the market because of this issue. I am so introverted, and to this day, it is still something I have to daily overcome just to check my inbox and even respond to my team that I love so dearly, because interaction just overwhelms me. It's just true. It's who I am, it's how the Lord made me, but it does not limit me. There's one thing this business has taught me. It is that our personalities and our strengths, the only thing that tells us about ourselves is it tells us our preferences. It tells us what we like and don't like. It doesn't tell us what we're capable of. It doesn't tell us what is possible, and it doesn't tell us what we can't do. And that has definitely been the biggest thing that I've learned as a leader, is that if you want to be in leadership, if you want to keep going beyond where you're currently at, you have to operate outside of yourself, because there is more to life than just you, more than your preferences and what you like or don't like doing. You are capable of all things, because we can do all things through Christ. So just so you guys know, behind the scenes, Abby is a serious introvert. If you ask the people that talk to me the most, my most used emoji is the monkey with the eyes covered, because that is how I feel all the time. But that's okay. We can overcome. And it's actually been super freeing and super empowering to be able to learn that and do that. So I made my post on Facebook, and just so you guys know, nobody ever came to me. Some of you lucky fish, like some of you watching this video right now, will make Facebook posts and people will come to you and ask you about these products. And even as a Sapphire, I am so jealous of you, because that never happened to me in my journey. No one ever came to me and offered to get these products for me. Nobody ever saw my Facebook post and said, hey, can you tell me about that? I want to try that. Didn't happen. No. I had to go to them. So I am proof that you have to get outside your comfort zone if you want this to be effective. So that is what I did. I realized a couple months in, I did go silver my first month. I knew that I couldn't afford to pay for my products, and so I was like, my mom signed up because she loves me. One of my closest friends signed up that she loved me. A lady that I was working for at the time, she signed up just because they saw me drinking the stuff, and they were like, we know you would never jump on board with anything. So if you're putting that in your body right now, Miss Girl who refuses to even take ibuprofen, we know it has to be safe for you, and we want some too. So I went silver off of word of mouth. And then I stopped growing, and I was like, okay, why is everyone else moving up ahead of me? Why? And then the lies started again. Abby, you were never going to be good at this. Look at everybody else moving past you. Look at all these people who are successful. It's because they have super extroverted personalities. It's because they talk to people all the time. Nobody's going to listen to you because your life is a wreck right now. You are going through a divorce. You are a single mom. Everywhere you go, even to grocery shop, people in this town all know you. They know that your life is falling apart, and they're judging you. Nobody wants to hear from you about products. The first thing they're going to think is that you're desperate and pathetic, and they're not even going to answer you. These are the things that played through my head every minute of every day. Jessica was wonderful. She tried so hard, bless her, to help me. To this day, I think I'm her most difficult jewel. I'm trying to make up for it by going diamond for her, but I think that I wore her out because I would just tell her no. Everything that she tried to get me to do on her page, I wouldn't do it. I was just so afraid of this. I was afraid that it wouldn't work, and I was afraid that it would, because goodness gracious, if I got a team, I mean, then what was I gonna do? Like, was I gonna have to be responsible for those people and take care of them? And was I gonna have to post on a team page 19 times a day like Jessica did? Like, who has time for that? I'm a single mom, raising a newborn, scrubbing toilets, cleaning houses, grocery shopping, and how am I, and on my extra time, I'm throwing up a Facebook post. How am I supposed to do anything more than that? I don't even know what a back office is. You guys, I couldn't even upload a file. Jessica was like, you're gonna have to come over here. And I sat next to her, you guys, and she was about to go diamond at the time. She was emerald going sapphire that month. And she scrolled through page after page after page in her detailed genealogy. And she pulled up my detailed genealogy of 4 people, and I held back tears. My throat was burning because I knew that I could never, ever, ever be as successful as her. And I thought, how am I ever going to do this? She is scrolling through pages, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, and I have 4. And I'm sitting here with my baby in my lap, feeling like I have no influence, on top of the fact that my sweet friend who was helping me was about to go diamond in our small town. So everybody that I knew, she had already talked to. You want to talk about struggling with fear and wondering if your network is tapped out. Literally, that girl had painted the town red. Everybody knew about Flexus by the time she was done. So I'm sitting here going, I can't even hear what you're saying right now. I don't know what PV is. All I know is I will never be able to do this, and I will never be as successful as you. So she had to restart that conversation and explain business building bonuses all over again to me, which I still didn't understand by the time I left her house. She was just trying to teach me how to upload a file, which to this day I'm still really bad at. So that was what she had to deal with me. But I was not a quitter. That was something that my dad instilled in me from the time we were kids. If we started a sport, we were not allowed to quit. We had to finish the full year in that sport before we could move on to something else, because it was an absolute law in our household. You will not quit. That you will never get anywhere. So I didn't quit, but I struggled hard, you guys. I didn't want to send cold messages. And I thought that because Jessica and I were so different, that because we had opposite personalities, that I would never be able to do this because I wasn't her. I didn't understand, and so I rejected all the tasks she gave me because I thought that doing those tasks meant that I had to, that I would somehow adopt her personality. But that's not true, you guys. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. This is super, super important. Just because you are not like your upline, just because you're not like the person who shared these products with you, doesn't mean you should create a new way of doing this business, okay? We are all doing the same exact daily tasks every single day. You cannot be successful in this business without IPA. The sentences that you type, those can be yours. The emojis that you choose, that's all you. Who you are cannot be changed. It cannot be shifted. Your giftings and the type of people that you attract, that is all you. Your Facebook friends list, that is all you. The type of people that are going to listen to you, that's all you. That's not something that I cannot attract the same friends list group that you do. There will be different types of people, different personalities. That's something that I can never do, and you won't attract the same people that I do. The way that how animated you are on a video, the things that you say, how funny you are, that's all your personality. Some of us in this business love doing videos. Some of us hate them. That doesn't change the fact that you still have to do them them if you have a team. You just may like it or not like it. Others of us may love reading books and love information and are going to be obsessed with product info. You may just want to sit and read about our products all day long. Maybe that's your passion. Whereas others of us want to sit and tell everybody about the comp plan. We know the products are awesome, but really we just want to change the world because we know everyone's living paycheck to paycheck, so we want to tell people about the business opportunity. What you are passionate about in this business, that is all you. And you can do this and love the parts of it that you love. You don't have to love the same things as your upline, but you still have to do the things. You can't just do this half over here because it's what you like and it's true to who you are and neglect this half. It doesn't work that way. You may have to work harder to do this half. You may do it gritting your teeth or literally pouring armpit sweat like me when I have to message people, but you still have to do it. So know that and be comforted by that, because know that the same thing that is hard for you to do in this business, another part of it is just as hard for someone else. We are all having to overcome in some area or in many areas. So enjoy your strengths, but you can't neglect the rest. And that is when this business changed for me. When I started reaching out and asking other people, what are you doing? What are you doing to grow your business? And I watched them, I realized they were doing the things. They were doing the things Jessica said to do. They were messaging people every single day. They were following up, even though they were afraid of being annoying and pushy. They were doing the things, just like all of us are here on this page that we train you guys to do. It's all the same stuff. And I realized that I was not being coachable. So in October of 2015, Jessica started a group called Maui Momentum in October, and it was 30 days, you guys. 30 days of every single day you had to do a whole lot of tasks. The goal was for her to weed out uncommitted people. So there were a lot of people that got kicked out of the group week 1, and I was just competitive enough that even though I hated doing the tasks, that I was determined not to get kicked out because I knew the other people in the group and I didn't want them to see me get kicked out. So I hung in just because of that, and I did all the things. And after 30 days of doing this every single day, I was blown away. My team was moving. People were growing. People were getting added. And because I was working, people on my team started working, and it was crazy. I had been working up to that point from March when I started to October, but it was really, really painful to work. I would work for a couple days and then take a couple days and not do it. And then I would message some people, and then I would be super busy for the next 3 days and not have time for it because life was just crazy. And you guys, my life was crazy. I was trying to figure it out. I was traveling. I was in a long distance dating relationship with my husband. I had to drive 10 hours to go see him. So I was traveling a lot. I was still doing all those day jobs, like working as a personal assistant and a nanny and house cleaner. I was doing all those things. I was very busy, and I was also the only parent. And so I was trying to constantly be present with my baby and not miss any of her growing up. So every single time I sat down to work this business before October, it was a chore. I hated doing it. My attitude sucked. I just really hated what I was doing, and I was uncomfortable with it, and I was insecure in it. Now listen, I did it anyway. And this is the part that I really believe the Lord blessed so much, is because even though I was doing it wrong because I was doing it with such a wrong attitude, I still wasn't stopping. I was still doing it every single week. I didn't give up on it even though I was insecure and I didn't like what I was doing. And so in October, when I really did it correctly every single day for 30 days, I finally saw a harvest. And I was like, okay, now this is about strategy. I now know what happens when you work this correctly. And so then I apologized to the Lord. In November, the following month, I said, you know what, Lord? I said, I have been asking you every single day for 6 months to pour out your blessings on this and to make it something that I can provide for my family with when I haven't been all in. I've done it sometimes, and sometimes I wasn't doing it, but the truth is, I really just hated it. I was insecure in it. I wasn't taking ownership of it. I certainly never told people that's what I did for a job when they asked me what I was doing. I was ashamed of it. And so I was not allowing myself to grow in it. And so because of that, my team wasn't able to grow beyond me. And I definitely wasn't leading them by example in my heart or my attitude. I was just trying to tell them to do it and make myself do it and hating it all the while. So in November, I laid out my fleece and I told the Lord that I would lay it all on the line. And I would go all in with my heart, with my attitude, with my consistency. And I asked him to bless it if I would completely lay it all out there. So that's what I did. And on December 31st, New Year's Eve, I went Ruby. And I had busted my rear end for November and December and worked like crazy. But the game completely changed. Instead of letting Plexus be the last thing I did at the end of the day and then doing half my IPA, it was the first thing I did at the beginning of the day. After my time in the Word, I started working. I definitely then would do it again. Every nap time, every second that Ava was occupied, I was messaging people. I was literally shoving it into every nook and cranny of my day, all day. It was a priority. It was important. But it was because it was between me and the Lord. It wasn't about me anymore. It wasn't, oh, Abby, you should do this because of X, Y, and Z. It was no longer a chore. It was something that I had dedicated to the Lord and that I knew if I had made a promise to him that I had to hold up my end of the deal. And if I was asking, I really didn't feel like I could ask him to bless it without me putting out everything on my end. So that's what I did, and I held nothing back. And we went Ruby on New Year's Eve, and then it was guns blazing from there on out. I was like, you know what? There is no going back. I talked to Adam, who we were married by then, and I was like, listen, we're gunning for this. Forget Senior Ruby. We're going from Ruby to Emerald. Emerald is the next rank. Senior Ruby doesn't matter. We're pretending it doesn't happen. From here to Emerald, that's what we're doing. And for us, we knew that for our family, what we had been asking the Lord for was several big things. We'd been praying for big things, but we found out in the first part of January that my dad, who had been battling brain cancer for a year, was told to go home, that there were no more treatments they could do for him, and that he wasn't eligible for any more experimental treatment. And so my world was upside down again. I had worked this business in the midst of a life crisis, a separation, a divorce. I had worked it through dating, through planning a wedding, through having a baby by myself, through a move, and now I was working it through my dad coming home and knowing that he was about to go to heaven. So at that point, my why changed. So up until that point, my why had been to provide for my baby, and it had been for me. And then after I had gotten married, I had to reassess again because I was tempted to get a little lazy. Backing up a little bit, when Adam and I got married, I was like, oh, I don't have to do this anymore. I could get a different job. And I really had to evaluate, is this something that I actually want to be doing? I don't have to do this. I have a husband now. I could get something else to help him provide. It doesn't have to be Plexus. But I really, really felt, and this is right before I went Ruby that I reassessed it. I really believed that this is something that an opportunity the Lord had given me, and it was my choice how I was going to steward it. But it was a way that he had provided for me, and I had a choice. I could either continue to run in that, or I could lay it down. But it wasn't, the reasons for doing it were just so that I could just basically let it go and not have to do hard things and not have to be outside my comfort zone. And I realized that all of those were really bad reasons for giving something up that the Lord was blessing and that he had obviously given to me for a reason. So I went all guns blazing, just like I said, and I never ever looked back. And it has been, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the absolute best avenue that could ever provide for my family. It's a question that I ask myself daily now is, what would life look like without Plexus? What would life look like without this kind of freedom? And there is another option that I know of on the planet that allows for this kind of freedom for me to be with the people my heart loves most every single day of my life. And also provides so much fulfillment in pouring into other people's lives, because yes, this business is outside my comfort zone in every avenue. It has forced me to be in so much prayer on a daily basis for the Lord to give me wisdom so that I can lead you guys, but it is crazy rewarding. Not just because of the crazy insane paycheck, but way before that it was rewarding, because I am getting to do this with you guys and I'm seeing other people's lives impacted. The first mama that was able to quit her job and come home with her babies, you guys, you better believe I was a wreck, because on this team I was seeing that blessing of what this had been for my life go tenfold. I was seeing the blessing of this duplicate down, and not just one person's life was changed, but families' lives were changed, and those families are impacting hundreds of families. And now, guys, if there's 2,700 people on our team, that's 2,700 families that have been impacted by this, and so many more, thousands more. So it has forever been worth it, and I have never looked back since that day. So forward again to February of 2016 is when my daddy went to heaven. I had continued working my business really hard and really faithfully daily, even while he was sick. We pretty much moved in with my mom and dad at that point because we didn't know how long it would be. And so we were all trying to support each other and be together as a family. But I knew that if my daddy was going to go to heaven, he had been the provider for my family. And so I wanted my siblings to have the ability to go to college. And so my why grew. I actually never intended to go past Emerald when I first started this business. But once my daddy was going to heaven, I realized that there were more people. There were more people to take care of and more people to love on in a bigger way. And so I needed to go past Emerald. Now I needed Diamond. So I worked my business from my daddy's hospice bed. I would lay by him and hold his hand, and I would message people. And it was the sweetest gift to not miss any of those days with him. I know that so many people don't have that gift of being able to say that they have no regrets when the people that they love most in the whole world go to heaven before them. But that was something that I am so thankful for, and there is no other job that exists that would have allowed me to do that, and for the paycheck to not suffer for that. So there was provision during that season. We didn't have to worry about food or groceries because the Lord provided through this avenue, and I didn't have to give up any time with my daddy, which was so sweet for me because my daddy was my person. He was the person that I told everything to and was my biggest supporter, and so that was so sweet for me to have that time with him. So in February, we went Senior Ruby, and in April, 2 months later, our team went Emerald. So that was crazy fast for those of you that haven't been around very long. That is serious momentum, and our team is back in that phase right now. So praise the Lord for that. We've been waiting for that to come back. So I'm super thankful for that. But I want you guys to know, sometimes you will see lots of business stuff on this page and lots of live videos that talk about discipline and working hard and working and getting your IPA done even amidst chaos. I want you guys to know those aren't just words. That's not just your leaders shouting orders at you. That's not just your upline saying, keep going, we want you to keep going. That's coming from a place of having worked this business in the absolute hardest and most chaotic seasons of my life. I want you guys to know that it's possible, that your situations don't have to define you, and that you can do this even when there are hard things. And that if the Lord has given this to you, which he has, if you're on this page and you're watching this, that he is your strength and that he gives you the ability to endure all things. that you are much stronger than